Hello, I'm Mark from Moonstone Publications. With me is Gerrit Verveers, Moonstone Compliance's National Credit Act Specialist. Today he's going to talk to us about registration renewals for credit providers, as well as their annual compliance report obligations. Welcome to the studio, Gerrit.
Thank you, Mark, and thank you for having me.
The deadline for credit providers to renew their registrations is the 31st of July each year. What are the consequences if a credit provider doesn't renew its registration on time?
Mark, so the National Credit Act makes provision that if you don't renew your registration before the 31st of July, that you can be levied a 10% penalty on the registration fee portion of the total fees payable to the NCR. That 10% is up until the 15th of August. If you miss that deadline, then there's another 10%, so a 20% total penalty fee payable up until the 31st of August. And if you miss that deadline, then your registration will automatically lapse. And the consequences then is that you as a credit provider can't charge any interest, you can't enter into new credit agreements up until such time as you re-register with the NCR.
So the National Credit Regulator is supposed to send out an invoice that reflects the renewal fee. How is that fee calculated for a particular credit provider?
So Mark, that fee is calculated based on the latest information that you've provided in your Form 39. So for example, if your annual disbursements did not exceed 15 million rand, then you only have to submit an annual Form 39. That's normally, well, it follows the calendar year and it's due by the 15th of February each year. So whatever your total outstanding debtors book is at that point in time, the NCR will use that information, and then they will use the table in a schedule to the National Credit Act, and then they will calculate your registration renewal fee. And they will also calculate the branch fees, which is 250 Rand per branch. So for example, if you are a credit provider and your total outstanding principal debt is less than 250,000 Rand, your registration renewal fee will be 1,000 Rand. And let's say you only have one branch, then it will be another 250 Rand. So in total, 1,250 Rand.
When can credit providers normally expect to receive these invoices? And what happens if, come the end of July, they haven't received an invoice?
So Mark, the NCR is supposed to send it out towards the end of June, beginning of July. Unfortunately, sometimes there are system errors and that type of thing. So if you do receive your invoice, there's all the payment details are there. And we normally also encourage the credit provider clients to send the proof of payment to fees@ncr.org.za. The issue comes in if you don't receive your invoice, and that can be for various reasons. An issue on the NCR side, or you haven't updated your contact person or your contact particulars with the NCR and you never received it. So we then recommend also calculate what your registration renewal fees are. Similarly with the branch fees, make payment to the NCR, submit the proof of payment to them, and then request an invoice. It's always better, if it's possible, to make the payment before the 31st of July to ensure that you don't have risk deregistration at the end of the day.
What does Moonstone Compliance do to help its clients ensure they get their registrations renewed on time?
So Mark, we timelessly engage with the NCR to obtain the registration renewal invoices. We normally check it as well, double check that it was calculated correctly, and if any corrections need to be made, we do liaise directly with the NCR on our client's behalf. We make sure that our clients are in possession of those invoices and that they have detailed instructions in terms of how to make the payment, to ensure that, as a practical example, to use their NCR CP number as the reference on the payment to make sure that the NCR do allocate it to the correct registrant. And then, send the proof of payments through to fees@ncr.org.za. So we facilitate that whole process, and even after that, we further assist in obtaining your original registration certificates as well as the window decals, which are extremely important to display at your business premises.
Let's turn to the annual compliance reports. How many of these reports are there, and when must they be submitted?
So Mark, in total there are 5 statutory reports. I've already touched on the Form 39, which is your statistical report. That is something that follows a calendar year, so 1st of Jan till the 31st of December. And depending on your annual disbursements, it's either due annually or quarterly. So as mentioned previously, if your disbursements were less than 15 million rand during that calendar year, then it's only due once by the 15th of February in the next year. And if your annual disbursements are more than 15 million rand, then there's a quarterly submission on various dates. For example, Q1 will be submitted by the 15th of May and so forth. So Mark, the other statutory reports, there are 4 of them, and they follow your financial year end. So the majority of our clients' financial year end is the end of February. So they need to submit all the other 4 reports that I'm going to deal with now within 6 months after their financial year end. So for example, if it was February, we need to submit by the 31st of August. The first one is your annual compliance report. It's almost like a self-assessment questionnaire. It's 90 odd questions, and we typically also assist our clients in completing that. The second one is the annual financial statements, and also that's something that your auditors or your accountant can assist you with. The third one is the Form 40, which is the financial and operational return. And in essence, that is a summary of your financial statements. That's also something that your auditor can or your accountant can assist you with. And then lastly, there is the assurance engagement report. So that's almost like a questionnaire or compliance report that needs to be completed by either your auditor or your accountant. And that just confirms whatever we've said in the compliance report is indeed accurate and correct.
What should a credit provider look out for when completing the reports?
So Mark, the big thing with the compliance report is just to make sure that you answer each and every question truthfully and accurately. Also, there are 4 options that you can choose. Normally, a yes is a positive answer. Doesn't necessarily mean that it is compliant when answering yes. There are a couple of questions where you actually need to answer no to be compliant. Then similarly, no is a negative answer to the questions. Then there's also an option for area for improvement, which means that yes, there were some non-compliance that we have identified, but it's technically not material. And then lastly, also something, if a specific question is not applicable to your business, you can answer it as not applicable. What is very important, especially when you answer it as not applicable, is that you need to provide further details thereon to the NCR. So we typically do have a commentary sheet that we assist our clients to complete wherever they've answered something as not applicable. And something also that came into, it's a focus area currently is question 1.11 and 1.12 that deals with the Financial Intelligence Center Act, or FICA, and whether or not the credit provider is accountable institutions or not. So as you know, since the 19th of December 2022, all credit providers are now accountable institutions. So specifically question 1.11 should be answered in a positive manner as yes. And then 1.12 deals more towards the procedures that you have in place, which should have been in place already by now.
What does Moonstone Compliance do to assist clients with submitting these statutory reports?
So Mark, first of all, what we do is we just do the reminders to make sure that you are aware of the fact that you need to submit them. And then we assist them to specifically complete the compliance report, especially if you are ongoing compliance client, where we do monitoring throughout the year. We know what's going on in your business. We can quickly assist you to answer those or all the questions accurately and truthfully. But you can do it on an ad hoc basis as well. We've got a lot of clients that only makes use of us to just guide them through the whole process of submitting all the reports. And then specifically also as an add-on or as an additional service, we also just assist the guys in providing a version of how an assurance engagement report can look like. And that is specifically there to assist the auditors or the accountants for them to just have some form of example of how that form should be completed.
Well, thank you, Gerrit. I've been talking to Gerrit Verveers, Moonstone Compliance's NCA specialist. Follow the link on the screen to find out more about Moonstone Compliance's National Credit Act services.